Hi and Assalamualaikum. Today, Eiman and I have prepared for you a presentation titled Islamic Banking as an Alternative to Conventional Banking. So what can you expect from our presentation today? It's very simple. We will try to convince you that Islamic banking is the better alternative when compared to conventional banking. So without further ado, let's begin. First, with the introduction to Islamic banking. So a brief intro on what Islamic finance is all about is that for those who are unaware, it has been around since the Prophet's time. Back then, before the advent of Islam, people were treating interest the same as trade. Both of them are the same and are inseparable. However, one day Allah has sent down His revelation. That is, He said, وَأَحَلَ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. I have permitted trade, but I have forbid riba or interest. Following this, the Prophet, a hadith of the Prophet once spoke, if you are trading with people, you have to trade gold for gold, silver for silver, dates for dates, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, and salt for salt. So this serves that trade is okay, but interest is a big no. So in this context, interest is when you gain a surplus towards whatever you are trading without an equivalent or reciprocal effort towards obtaining that particular advantage or surplus. So it's clear that in Islam, riba is forbidden. You can trade, however, if there is any part or any phase towards your trade that riba or interest are being involved, then that whole process and negotiations becomes haram. So it started very simple, through prohibiting usury. Through multiple Islamic civilizations like the Abbasid and the Uthmaniyah and after modern times, the Sharia has evolved throughout the years in order to accommodate modern times. So nowadays we have systems like Musharakah and Mudarabah. So despite this complex or whatever system that exists nowadays, the nature of Islamic banking is the same. No usury, no riba, no interest. That's it. Islamic banking is very simple in its principle. So now I open the floor to my friend Eiman to continue on with the presentation, where there's two presentations, main idea 1 and main idea 2. Eiman.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, I would like to continue with our first main idea, which is Islamic banking system is a profitable system. So, one of the main reason why Islamic finance system is very much sought after is because it provides a lucrative return to both banks and the customer. So as far as financial institutions are concerned, implementing a Sharia compliant banking system is a wise move for a financial institution, as they can have more profit compared to when they just offer a conventional banking system to the customer. As we know, bank customers comes from different walks of life, and consequently some of them may have different needs in their financial service. So for example, a Muslim is prohibited to get into any transaction that involve usury or riba or interest. So they would prefer a financial transaction that are usury free, which may not be provided by the conventional bank, and this give more option to them, as they can choose which system that they prefer to use. So by doing so, bank can better serve their customer, given that the individuals from all race religions are able to subscribe to the Islamic banking system. The fact that the bank can cater more customers' needs for Islamic finance systems means that they can have more profit. This enable them to provide more services to their customers. So on the other hand, a customer will have more benefits if they choose Islamic finance, and there are many long-term benefits that will give them a lucrative return. So the first benefit to the customer is that Islamic finance is free from riba. Islamic prohibits riba because riba will actually will provide uncertainty and cause difficulties to the society. So by opting for riba free, finance services uncertainty can be prevented. Right. So the next one is the people's savings will be invested in Sharia compliance investment. So this is because Sharia principles prohibits any transaction that supports any activities that are prohibited in Islam. So for example, like usury, speculation, gambling, and many other things that Islam prohibits. So this thing can be avoided, and will ensure that the profit made by the banks in this investment is halal. So the third one is that Islamic finance protects the people from unnecessary risk through the principle of financial justice. So for example, Islamic takaful. In Islamic takaful, there must be a mutual agreement between parties to guarantee the losses and the damages of each other. Even though both Islamic and conventional finance provide insurance, but there are differences between the two. So the Islamic insurance is based on a mutual cooperation, not merely commercial. So it is subjected to both Sharia law and also government law. So by this example, it is clear that Islamic finance return are more lucrative to the banks and to the customers compared to the conventional finance. We move on to our second main idea, which is Islamic banking system is viable in the communities, especially for Muslims. So as we know, the Muslim communities is expanding all over the world. Therefore, the demand for Islamic finance also increasing year by year as the Muslims need to involve in a variety of transaction, and at the same time they have to imply Sharia compliant in their method of transaction. Therefore, the existence of Islamic finance in banking system is practical for people, especially Muslims. This is because of this policy that protects the source of income for Muslims. Due to this practicality of this system, banks have offered many products that involve not just loan or saving, but business and investment to the customers. These include profit sharing, safekeeping, joint venture, leasing, Islamic insurance, and Islamic bond. Therefore, it involves the customer's wealth and income, meaning that the resources and the processes from the beginning until the end must not involve goods or services that is forbidden. So this is why the policy protects the money and use the money to invest in a business or in investment that is not involved in all those forbidden things. So this is why it is very viable for Muslim communities.
So our last discussion for today on why Islamic banking is a more stable alternative compared to conventional banking. So what do we know from conventional banking? Is that they offer loans and their loans have interest. And if they don't have any interest, surely they must have some sort of dodgy or mind twisting engagement schemes that forces you to pay a huge amount of money to them every month or every repayment period. And according to Islam, that is, if you name it riba or not, riba is still riba. All right, interest is still interest regardless. But what do you have with Islamic banks' profit sharing schemes? You have two options, or two of the most basic contracts possible, which is musharaka and mudaraba. Let's say that you are a Fairuz and you want to start up a new business. So you go to an Islamic bank and you ask them, "Hi, I want to start a new company, but I lack the necessary funding in order to do so. Do you have any sort of loans that you can offer to me that I might be able to undertake?" And they say, "No, but we do have musharaka and mudaraba." Let me explain. Musharaka is a profit and loss sharing scheme. So, how it works is that both of us are the joint capital provided to that particular company that you are willing or interested to start with. So, we both merge our capital together and then we start up a new business. In doing so, both of us are the co-partners and co-managers to that business that we have just established. So any sort of business decision that you want to make will be our decision. So we have, because we are co-managers, I am directly involved in every decision making process that you wish to undertake. And at the end of each accounting period, we will share and split upon our profit and loss based on our pre-agreed upon ratio. So let's say it's 70 to 30% in favor of the bank. 70% will go to the bank in terms of in case it's profit, and if it's loss, 70% will also be incurred to the bank. In contemporary times, modern scholars have argued that while it is ideal for a musharaka contract to happen, it is not entirely possible for it to exist at all. Because if it's only one Fairuz willing to open up one business, then it's okay. But if there's 100 Fairuz in the neighborhood and there's only one Islamic bank within the vicinity, the bank may lack the necessary manpower and knowledge to be able to handle 100 different businesses at once. And thus, Mudarabah contract is for. In Mudarabah, it is very much simpler and much more straightforward compared to Musharaka because the bank will act as the capital provider while the Fairuz will act as the entrepreneur to the business. What this means is that the bank gives you the building and the Fairuz will work that building in order to generate money. So any sort of business decision that Fairuz wants to take will be on his own discretion. The bank will have nothing to do with the sort of business decision that Fairuz wants to make. So at the end of the accounting period, returns of profit will be based upon a pre-agreed upon ratio, and in cases of loss, only the bank as the capital provider will bear the loss. Fairuz will bear the loss as well, indirectly in terms of having no income for that particular period of time. So why is this better than conventional loans? Is that when Islamic Bank says we offer you zero interest in our profit sharing schemes, they mean it. It's not buried deep within a 50 pages stacked document like you would see in conventional banks, but they strictly say we offer you no interest, but we are interested in making money through you through profit sharing. So that's why it is much more stable for new startups and for current businesses to go to an Islamic bank in order for them to obtain funds necessary for their new venture. That's it. Okay, so what can we conclude from our presentation today? We can see that Islamic banking edges out conventional banking in terms of lucrativity, viability, and also reliability. And it shouldn't come off as a surprise if one day Islamic banking becomes the norm as more and more consumers realize its potential. However, in order for that to happen, Islamic banking needs to be more accessible to non-Muslim customers, because instead of using Islamic jargon such as mudaraba and musharaka, they can convert it to locally understood languages instead. Because instead of using mudaraba, which non-Muslims may not know what it means because they don't study Arabic, you can just call it profit sharing venture. So a simple translation of the mechanisms or systems that they offer goes a long way in terms of accessibility towards a different kinds of market. So if they want to open up to a new branch or of consumers, then translating what their system mean to locally understood languages is one way to do it. So a rehash of our thesis is that we believe that Islamic banking is a better alternative than conventional banking because the returns are more lucrative, it is more marketability in Muslim communities because they are better, and lastly, that businesses are more stable in making investments. So from Fairuz and Eiman, we believe that Islamic banking is the better alternative compared to conventional banking. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Picture of a cat for you.